Okay, in sales orders, remember that anything with a dash BV behind it means that the setting changed here also changes it in Business Vision and vice versa. So the first setting is whether they have access to the sales order list. Can they add orders, modify orders, delete orders, whether they can view the cost while creating an order or seeing it on the list, whether they can auto-fill an order or whether they're set to auto-fill an order, which means that if an order has back orders on it, which now can be fulfilled, and the user opens up that order to edit it, it will automatically ship the items into the committed column. Whether they can modify the sell prices that are presented to them, whether they can edit the description of an item as it's sold, can they take returns on an order, can they edit the tax flags, can they add or edit a line discount, can they take deposits. In BVEssentials, we call them deposits. In Business Vision, they're called layaways. Can they create quotations? Can they do standing orders? Can they do a GL account change? In Business Vision, this is the auto post selection where the user is allowed to change the GL accounts that items are normally posted to. And in BVEssentials, we do this on a line-by-line basis. Whether the processed orders are locked to this user. In company setup, we have a setting whether they are normally locked, and if that whatever setting is in the company, this user will take that system default. We can override that to a yes or no as well. So once an order has been processed, in other words, has the packing slip printed, then it cannot be edited by this particular user. Can they edit the sales order item cost? This is a setting that has to be thought about very carefully. As an item is sold, it brings the average cost to the user. If this is checked, they are allowed to change that cost before it is sold, and therefore it will put the GL out of balance with the inventory list. Are they allowed to reopen closed, processed, or shipped orders? So once it's been processed and shipped, can they go back in that order, reopen it, and bring it back to as if it had not yet been shipped? Are they allowed to ship orders? Ship orders is a stage past processed where a shipper normally marks them as shipped. Modify the bill to address on a sales order. So when you take an order for a customer, the address is put on there from their master setup. If this is checked, the user can change the billing address on a sales order. Do you want this user to get warned when an item is on back order, or just silently take the order and back order it? What date should be used for an order this user creates or invoices? Should it always be the current date unless they filled it out, or ask for the date unless the invoice date is filled out? If we check our hold invoicing, then this user cannot invoice, or set to hold over limit, then they cannot invoice if the customer is over their limit. Select the warehouse when editing an item. So for this setting, the warehouse will be the first field that is presented to the user when they are taking a line order. If this is unchecked, it will default to asking for the part number first and not the warehouse. When it's unchecked, they can still go back and edit the warehouse, but it is not a field the order will stop on. Order default type, so what kind of order does this person usually take? It can be set as an open sales order, a quote, standing order, booking order, RMA order, work order, or rental order. If a person puts a non-inventory item on here, do you want it to prompt them to warn them that it is an order? Do you want them to be not allowed to take an order that way with a non-inventory item? Or is it okay just to go ahead and let it take it without a warning? We have phases on an order, so you can set an order with a user-defined set of phases. What phase do you want this person to be set at when they create an order? Are they allowed to process an order? In other words, print that packing slip. Are they allowed to fill back orders? Do you want the order lines to be sortable when this user uses the program? In other words, they can sort by any of the columns within an order. If you set only modify shipping fields, this particular user will only be able to modify the order and change the shipping charge, the ship via, the reference number. and the FOB, and the quantity being shipped. Are they allowed to change the division on an order? Do you want this user to be defaulted to on account? That way the payment methods will not be presented to the user, but strictly use on account selling. Are they allowed to see what the items are being sold for? Edit profit center means the user is allowed to change the profit center that's set up in the company. A profit center is a segmented GL segment that defines the profit center and redirects the income and costs for this particular order. Are they allowed to update prices? So within BVEssentials on a sales order, there's a button that allows you to save the prices that this order was sold at to the customer specific price module so that it automatically sells it for that price again next time. Are they allowed to process orders over a credit limit? And are they allowed to archive quotes? Archive quotes is the invoice button when it's a quote is an archive button, which then posts the invoice to sales history with no quantities, and nothing gets posted to any other ledgers. Therefore, you can follow up on quotes that were lost.